All right, e4, d6. Now, we don't always play the same starting moves, but definitely d6 on this one. All right, well, I can tell you we have a great, successful speed run. Yep, awesome. Well, guys, good fun. Okay, well, there's not much to say after that. Yeah, that's just it. Well, there you go. That's the speed run. It's the capturing a free e4 pawn speed run. I think we might have some, some better examples to look at than that. That was a little underwhelming, but still. Okay, I'm definitely starting to look over here, control some light squares. I have a feeling, yeah, I have a feeling that my opponent is interested in the one and only knight g5. Okay, let's continue to move these pawns over here. Go here to see what he wants to do. Queen b1 would defend that. If he takes, though, I'm a little concerned for him because we're gonna put a knight on d5. So let's see. I'm looking at a3. I'm kind of liking it, even though we might lose a pawn. I think it's the way to go. Loosens things up the most, and with knight d5, that should be a problem. I thought that he might have to play a3 there. And yeah, we're gonna get, okay, here he blunders a2. If he took with a rook, though, rook a4, rook a8, knight d5, there's no way we were not winning pawn back there. I think this is a capture. We can go back here, but also tempting is knight b5. I'm gonna go here, though, because guarding that pawn from a safe square is very, very nice. I think he's gonna realize, like, yeah, he's gonna move like some pawn or king f1 or bishop g3, because we can sit here and dream of a back rank mate, but as I just said, of course, he's gonna move a pawn. Play g5, so we have a bit more space and maybe stop him from expanding in the center later on. I think we want to go rook a4. Should be a nice move. f3 for some reason, and I could definitely see him playing. It's a terrible move, of course, but it's possible. We're hitting this pawn, so I think he's got to go right back where he came from. He does not, which means we're going to grab it. Bishop g3's, yeah, definitely best move. Oh, poor guy. I don't know what he's thinking here. Bishop's attacked and he just leaves it. King g1, at least he does the right move there. Don't exactly know how we're going to get mates. I need him to play king to f1. This one is hanging here. He's going to take and then resign. GG, but this has been all too common in this speed run. The guys are they're just hanging pawns. Like, there's nothing to say here. I'm not even going to pretend that there's anything to say. Nope. On to the next one. Take the center pawn. One thing I'll say is just be on the lookout for it, because people blunder it all the time. All right, so we always start with knight f3. f5 is interesting. Okay, we're seeing some wacky openings today, but okay, it's not really gonna prevent our idea here. Go c3. So our setup is like usually with the pawns like this, bishop e2, queen c2. I'm playing c3 first because I know that I'm going to need to add some support to this pawn. We do have bishop d3 if needed, but I think for the moment we could probably leave it. Okay, we'll see. Castle as well, and most likely some kind of b4-esque move. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, are we continuing the hanging the e-pawn speedrun? It certainly looks like it. Obviously, there are a few moves that exist, like queen e7, that might make this a little bit more playable. So I wouldn't say that this is just, I wouldn't say this is just all bad. But I think the move b4 is very helpful. It seems weird because after bishop d6, we don't win the pawn, but we could just continue to add pressure, and the bishop on d6 is bad. So the reason I did it this way is because, I didn't really like those moves, rook e8, queen e7. So I figured, okay, let me win the pawn for real. Knight f7 is the plan. And e4 can be taken, but I wouldn't say we're too concerned at this point. Knight e5. Queen's not most secure in there, so we do need to watch out a little bit. What am I doing with knight e5? What am I doing about knight e5? I'm not really sure what the safest move is. I think we're just getting all the way back out of here. I'm kind of okay if he takes because it's some trades. Have a couple more trade options here, like bishop f3 and bishop b2, especially if something like that happens. Okay. Think we want to go here, especially before queen g6 maybe becomes dangerous. So I don't think we necessarily converted in the best way by retreating, but the way I see it, as long as we're in the business of trading pieces, things should be all good. He happens to hang one here, so that'll most likely be the end of the game. Yeah, good game. So another like kind of unorthodox one. I mean, you're gonna see the Dutch, or you're gonna see the bird opening for white at some point, but I would say out of 100 games, you might see it less than 5 for sure. Probably like 3 or 4 times. And it doesn't really stop our setup, and this is it. Queen c2, bishop e2, castle, and then usually pawn storm on the queen's side, depending on what happens next. But again, just guys hanging their center pawns. There's really not much to say about that. Being extra nice this episode. Okay, let's have a look. See what opening we get here. We do get e4, d4. Don't make the mistake of pushing. He does not. I think we can play e5 now. Okay, and this is our desirable setup here. We can see the long castle happening. So I'm going to play knight g4 and just ensure that we get this dark square bishop, which should be fantastic for us. We can definitely expect knight there. Queen c7 will be our normal reaction to that. So I'm going to play it now so that we can meet knight c4 with b5. But you're starting to see the similarities. We basically just had this position last time. I'm gonna go ahead and start pushing. Yeah, because I figured that he might be interested in that, but now you end up trapping your bishop, so the bishop has to retreat. I think we'll just keep going, keep expanding here. That knight can just be repelled by h6. Doesn't look too dangerous. And the other option we have are these moves to maybe try to trade the queen. But yeah, I do think h6 is completely fine here. h6 is a move we want to play anyway. Knight goes back to h3. Not seeing too much go on there. Let's go a3 so that if this happens, it's a little bit weaker around the king here. And now the big question, how do we sort of continue putting pressure on this position? Honestly, I think castling, because I'm really expecting this, and I think he might just end up kind of helping me out. So he goes here. Knight f6 doesn't make a lot of sense now. Knight c5 looks pretty decent. I feel like knight here is maybe the one, although he's probably gonna go there, to be honest. So we can make a sneaky move here, especially because queen d4 looks nice. I think he'll play queen g3, I have to guess. Queen d4. There is c3 for the moment. It's probably not going to be the move. This is a free piece, but we just have to wait. You know, it will be a free piece, but we just need some time. Okay. He goes bishop there, so perhaps another game we'll win that knight on h3. Not this one. Definitely knight f2 and maybe h4 to follow. That would make a lot of sense to me. Yeah, it kind of feels like just doubling makes the most sense. This seems like a very solid pawn structure right here. This knight on e6. He should play h4. Yeah, we'll just go ahead and take it and double the rooks. So we are threatening checkmate here. You know, he is just going to allow the mate. The opening, once again, you can see the makings of it every time we get this type of system, and then we just chuck the pawns. That's like really simple to follow. And if I can get my hands on the dark squared bishop, always a huge asset. Honestly, if I can get my hands on either bishop, I'm pretty happy, but dark square bishop is the best. Yeah, I thought queen a7 was probably smart. Knight c5 looks like a great move as well. All looked good here, that's for sure. Because yeah, there's going to be problems on b2. The dark squares are just, they belong to me. There's no ownership of dark squares here for my opponent, unfortunately. Okay, we start with this just to prevent e5 for the moment, discourage it. Bishop g4 is a bit strange, but we'll move our knight here to watch over it. Play our e4 move again. Play bishop e2, and very likely we'll also include h3. And you know the setup. It's going to be c3, queen c2, castles, h3, all that good stuff. Okay, normally I'd like this, and even this queen trade is fine, but we've sort of been playing in a way that keeps the queens on the board, so I'll continue to do that for now. But yeah, if he continues to allow this, I feel like d4 is like so hard not to play. But sticking with our pre-approved setup, I would leave the pawns like this. Knight e5. There's this. Yeah, again, he's really, really tempting us. I'm going to go here, but I would say we're pretty close, guys, to playing d4, e5. Okay. He does take now, so I will take, maintaining that pawn. This, unfortunately for him, does not... Yeah, doesn't make a threat. He may actually be losing some material here. Just have to do things in the right order. It feels like this and this does win. So here the bishop has to go back. Knight c4, queen c7 kind of holds things together. But e5 first takes that square away, and then it feels like b4 is winning. Here, knight d5, b4, knight takes c3. Maybe that's the special the special move there. Oof. This is one of those annoying positions where you're pretty sure that you have a win, but honestly, knight c3 does look like it works there, so I think I have to respect that. I'll just go knight e4 instead, but I am threatening b4 here, I think. Nice move. I think we're probably going to take that. We could go a4 as well. Yeah, maybe a4. Go for the full expansion here. Yeah, we're not really able to play this move, so not my favorite. Let's just go here. I'm kind of expecting this, and I wanted to include c4. See if that does anything. Bring this bishop to c3. Yeah, this bishop doesn't feel the most important anymore. It's more about securing this e5 pawn. That's one of those moments where he's played in such a weird way that... Ooh, does this work? I suppose we'll find out here. I definitely like the look of this for him. Feels like the type of thing that should work. He does have to play it properly, which I'm not sure that he did. I was thinking of d4 there as maybe the best shot. Maybe we can take and take. Just because we're hitting a couple things here. Otherwise, two center pawns, I guess completely winning for us, but still, two center pawns, it can be pretty tricky. Yeah, probably put this bishop on c3, and yeah, everything is kind of safe there. Rook d7. Expecting rook c7, which this should work against. And this rook c1 check is not too important. We can pick up that rook on c5. And we're able to get the checkmate in. Okay, that was a quick finish out of nowhere. Definitely not a bad game from the opponent. I think he got a little bit lucky because queen b6 should really be losing. So I think he got a little bit fortunate. I don't know about this move. Knight c4 and bishop a3 and rook b1. So that's the engine line that wins. And there's no other line that's really any good here. That's quite the line. So that's what I mean when I say I think he got a little bit lucky, because really this should be losing. Like queen b6 clearly traps your bishop, but knight d5, knight takes c3. Obviously after b4 he's not playing knight c3, but I still have to play chess properly here. Yeah, if we take the knight on c3, just bishop d4, we lose our rook. So that's why we're not thrilled with that. But again, I feel like our setup, especially just getting the bishop pair early, super effective. One thing that I do like about this setup is against Caro-Kann, it works pretty well. And you almost always just get a clean bishop pair, nice and easy. And the only tension in the center is the e-pawn. And you always leave it. You never take, for the most part, you never push. Just wait for them to take and always take back with a pawn. So it's nice and easy to, like, it's easy to understand how to make decisions in the middle game, because you're never worried about this. Like, you know how to handle all those interactions. You're not sitting there calculating pawn takes every move, because you know that you never play that. So it kind of helps. Okay, d4, I usually start with the knight, and we are going to get a London. It's been a while since we've seen a London system. Yeah, one thing about the London, I said as we sort of get up to higher elos, I would start to show you that, yeah, taking, like, the advantage we have with our setup is that we can often just take the London bishop just right away. And yeah, once you do this, like, even if bishop g5, we would be able to with h6 g5. Yeah, once you do this, it's I think it's pretty easy. So yeah, the position might look a little bit different, but I think in general, after e5, c6, the only difference is I kind of like g6 here because I anticipate that. Maybe queen e7. Let's see here. I still like c6. Let's go here. We still have this. He goes back. Maybe f5. Okay. Trying to play a4. We might see a4 from him, actually. The knight kind of looks wrong there. I guess we'll play h4. Feels crazy not to. I think we want to take this way. We give him a square, but it's just a square. Like, I think he might have to go back. Or to a3, which looks no good. And yeah, between all the moves like queen g5, h4, I think we have a strong position here. Maybe bishop to d6 we can reroute, plus h4 looks pretty convincing here. Okay, knight takes on b5. Ladies and gentlemen. Let's take check, because I'm curious to see if the king goes to the h file. Ooh. That's probably not the move. I'll go ahead and take this, and as you can probably guess, my next move will be h4. g4 is the only move that you can consider here, and instead we see knight e2, which means we get a nice pawn checkmate. Not too stressful of a game, but the London is handled really well here. Most people are not cautious with the bishop, but remember, if they are, we still go for our normal setup with e5. It just takes a little bit longer to achieve because literally every single move that white has played is preventing us from playing e5. So that's why I often default in these games to like a knight h5 idea early, but soon we'll get to a rating where they're actually keeping the bishop. From what we've seen so far, people who play the London always follow up with e3 and just allow the bishop to be taken. So that's what we've been doing. Knight f3, d3. Okay, fianchetto setup, so zero bearing on what we're doing here. We get e4. Play c3. It's really nice against that bishop, and it allows the queen to come to c2 to defend this pawn if needed. The nice thing about someone playing bishop there when they have a fianchetto setup is you just play h3. And what's he going to do? They have to take, right? Or they go back because they don't have the g6 square available. So yeah, anytime someone fianchettos but also pins one of your knights in front of it, I always like to play h3. Just get a quick bishop pair or force them to waste time going back. Yeah, so nice little bishop pair for myself there. Thank you very much. You know we're gonna castle. Hopefully the moves are starting to become ingrained. Rook e1. This is all part of the plan. Tuck this bishop and, of course, start expanding with the queenside pawns. That's the #1 plan. Okay, rook d7. The thing is, this d file is not that useful. There's not really anything going on the d file, so I feel pretty nice. Let's just play a5. I'm going to continue to, yeah, just send the pawns. If I could play a6 and bishop b5, that will really loosen up that knight. So that could be quite good. Knight h5 is a pretty normal move. I'm going to probably continue with the tuck procedure. Like this move, especially because I'm anticipating this and we have this amazing g3 move ready to go. And knight d2, knight c4 looks like a nice reroute. Bishop e3 looks very, very clever. Knight here, I might actually go here, anticipating this, and then this, and rook d1 actually traps that piece. Okay, goes queen e6. Not 100% sure what that intends. Maybe knight e7. Just trying to get in his head here. Regardless, bishop e3 looks very sound. Knight h5, g3 once again. Yeah, that move makes sense. So we could go here and do a bunch of trades, but I don't think that's quite it. Yeah, I'm gonna go knight d2. This is a classic reroute. In this case, because we put our pawn on a5, the c5 square looks very, very interesting. Still knight h5. I'm waiting for, I got you covered. Hit him with the g3. And if he plays f5, which is oh so likely, he'll just lose the queen there. So here we do have bishop there, but he has squares to move to, so I wouldn't say it's terribly impressive. Let's continue with knight b3, just utilizing the squares that I've created for myself. Knight here looks, definitely looks like the move. Hitting the rook, also guarding the pawn. Okay, now if b6 ever, feels like we're kind of always okay. We just play rook takes. So I might do here, might go queen b1. Now bear with me here. I'm still guarding this pawn, and I think I'm threatening b5, which will trap the queen. So yeah, the queen has one chance to escape, but of course he'll never play it. Knight b7 would be winning there in case he did, but yeah, now we're just winning the queen. Tuck, bishop out, this queenside pawn storm, rook d1. I have to respect rook d1. Takes. This is definitely, by the way, what seems to be the best move. takes, queen d8 though, wins that knight if not for queen there, but then we get a queen exchange. So there are probably a few ways to do it, this one as well, but yeah, I think this is the one. So he actually saves his queen, but not only did he already lose something there, but after we take and take, he's going to lose more because the a pawn will turn into something. And technically, it would be a mistake to play a7, technically. So we'll just go here and we should be able to actually queen the pawn. GG. I would say that this type of game is very standard for this opening. A lot of people play Fianchetto setups at low elo, and I'm talking about anything that we've been to so far. Anytime that we have pawn on e4 and pawn on d5, our opponents are taking, let's be real. Probably 80+% of the games they're capturing. And so this type of position is very standard. I would say this is like a very common position we've been in, and it's so easy to play for white. Just make sure you castle and play rook e1. It seems like these are whatever moves, but the bishop tuck to defend the center with the rook is very nice, and you're always ready to handle this with g3, and your bishop's covering the h3 pawn. Plus the bishop is still useful on this diagonal. And then just literally toss the pawns up. If there's a pawn on h3, you're safe to play bishop e3, so you're never dealing with that. And then this knight probably reroutes to one of these good squares, and the rest just plays itself. But yeah, this feels like a really standard position, and man, it is. If you know what to do, so easy to play. Okay, d4, like I said, I usually go with the knight, and then knight c3, we'll go d6, knight f3, we'll go here. And our goal is to play this. Now, this move is making me think, okay, e5, take, yeah, should be fine. Just wanted to make sure. At what elo do you think people are going to stop thinking that this is a tactic? Like, do you ever just kind of sit there and wonder, like, when are they going to believe that this is not an actual tactic? I don't know. I truly don't know. Looks like bishop e7 here. It's possible to play other moves, but bishop e7 definitely looks like the safest. Definitely going to be a big h3 moment here. H6 rather. Okay, e3 doesn't even play e4 to threaten us there. When the bishop gets back here, it's going to threaten c7, which is admittedly going to be annoying. So maybe we can put the knight on e6 to watch that. Okay. Well, I'll definitely take the opportunity to trade pieces if offered. Okay, so the d6 square is weak here, but I was thinking here we have knight e4 and the bishop can't move and f2 is threatened. So I think this should get us the trade that we want. So that would probably be my plan there if our dear friend didn't hang his bishop. But he's making it a little bit easier on us, and he's going to resign. I can't explain. All I can say is start playing the opening because, goddamn, this is not the first time people have hung their knight. Good players, too. Like 900, 1,000, 1,100, now 1,250. They think this is a tactic. It's not a tactic. This is not a thing. That's not real. Why did he resign? I mean, -2 pieces. Pretty fair, I would say. Okay. So e4, you know, we go with d6. Then we go with the knight. Again, e5, we're ready. So knight c3. Knight d7. And hey, we haven't seen this one in a while. We haven't seen it in a while. So we're definitely still going to play e5. Okay, interesting. He takes. And then he pushes. I don't think we've seen exactly this before. Feels like our bishop will perform pretty well here, especially because knight f3 looks normal. Maybe he makes a good move though with the queen. I think we're still gonna stick with the same type of position by playing c6. Let's go here. Knight a4, there's a couple good moves, I would say. So, by the way, I was just thinking, we actually have queen b2 here. I didn't even stop to consider that. Like, it's just so routine to recapture. I just recaptured. But queen b2, I think might actually be winning. Oh no, he plays d6. Bro, this move is so useless. I was just talking about how I missed my chance to take it. Well, obviously after recapturing, I'm definitely taking it. Yeah, this is lost now. Gonna lose at minimum a piece, probably a queen, if I'm guessing moves here. Yeah, this is exactly what I was expecting, and now, like I said, you lose a queen. Maybe we have this one. I mean, it looks like we can kind of get the king up the board, which is always desirable. Yeah. F6 is, I mean, let's be real, satisfying. Satisfying. Just a very, very quick win there. So we haven't, I mean, this at some point will happen to you, especially the guys that play this move order. When they see the opportunity to grab the full center, they will. E5 is the move we play anyway. Knight f3 is what I'm expecting. And here I probably will be taking and then playing c6 and going for a similar type of setup. I've had this maybe once so far. Taking here, if they take, by the way, the truth is we are going to take, and this is the only line in the opening where we actually allow this, but it's kind of because we have to. There's no other playable move here because knight g4 is not possible. Otherwise, I might consider it. So here we do have to do this, but it's very much playable. We're just going to play c6. This knight might even drop back. f6, king c7, like bishop out somewhere, even to e7. And just kind of hide your king on c7 there. And support the e5 square as much as possible. That's basically what I would advise here. So we didn't really see that. We saw, yeah, d5. Not the best move. And yeah, this is completely over. Rough. Knight f3 to start. And okay, here we go. So this is going to be Caro-Kann. We're going to go with e4. As I said, almost everybody takes. And is this a center pawn gambit? I mean, you can go here and maybe try to win your pawn back. But, I mean, guys, they're still just hanging the center pawn. Like, what's going on? Bishop b4. This guy has no idea about our system. Oh, man. Because c3 is like, perfect. Thank you very much. This is exactly what I want to play. Yeah, there's maybe knight c4, but knight d6 is no good. It hangs this pawn. So I wouldn't say we need to get too fancy here. I'm just going to focus on castling. Here, knight takes e4 rather. Takes. Seems good. I'm probably just going to play this though. I can definitely see him blundering a piece here. Castles. Okay, so this definitely looks tempting. Yeah, in fact, I'd be shocked if that's not just very good for us. think we have to just trust that. So if he takes, I think, yeah, we can all sorts of different ways to unleash the rook from e1. I think we stay consistent with the tuck here. Bishop back. He wants to trade. We can do it just because we have this move, which looks nice. I think he wanted this and this, like those kind of moves, but yeah, being able to take this dark square bishop looks pretty good. And yeah, actually, in the end, we don't even need to take it. We can actually win material. Guarding with the rook. Now we have knight d6. Yeah, knight b6. Good lord, it's over. It's a massacre. The pieces are jumping every which way. Queen here, but we have the bishop tucked. It's perfect. It's covering everything. Ladies and gentlemen, the greatest bishop of all time. I think there's some good stuff to be had on that side of the board. If we're if we're playing like a good schoolboy, a good chess student, bishop e7 is the way to go. Just trade, trade, trade. Yes, yes, yes. Rook d1. Just want to get doubled and play rook d8. Queen here and rook d8 is basically unstoppable. Yeah, I don't see how you can do anything about that. So unpleasant. Keep it nice and simple. Any trade here helps me out. So that's why I'm just like autopiloting rook d8. Like, look, these trades just make it so apparent that the game is over. Rook b6. Okay, it's going to be c5. I mean, at this point, yeah, I'm just trying to trade all the pieces. Bishop f7 will be the last good move we need. GG. I have noticed that the move e5 this is not the first time we've seen this exact blunder in this exact Caro-Kann line, truly. So I don't understand it. I really don't. I don't know what people are thinking. Here, like, yeah, you can take this pawn, but it's never going to be enough, right? The worst case is we just do this and castle. And this is a tremendous position, right? Black is weird with the bishop here, like can't develop, can't castle. Even though the pawns are even, this is clearly not a good trade. Black would be better off just playing a normal move here. So I think this system works so well against the Caro-Kann. It definitely has in practice. And the Caro-Kann's a major opening. Like everyone plays it, so we see this a lot. Okay, e4, d6. Knight f6, we'll take our tempo. And they're just hanging the pawn. This is such a simple, like they just hang the pawn every game. My goodness. It's just not even close anymore. And obviously at this point, up material, there's no need to like feel forced to do like that exact setup. First of all, it's gonna be much harder on an open file, so I wouldn't recommend it, but yeah, it's just not necessary. I think it's the best way to say. It's just not necessary. Knight d7, maybe h6. Free center pawn for me. That hanging e-pawn, it's like, and I'm making the most obvious move in the position. What is this? No, my friend. What is this? What is this? What are these moves? This is not it. Way too many mistakes there for a near 1300. I mean, this is just brutal though. I don't know how so many people allow it, but I'm not making it up. Like, I'm not doctoring the data here. They really just hang it every time. So I take it every time. Knight f3, d3, knight d2, and e4. So yeah, almost always we see the capture. I play c3, bishop e2, and yeah, if knight takes, we are blundering that. So that's why in this case we'll be taking with the bishop. Can get castled, and yeah, really is the same old, same old. Okay, goes back. Start to push some pawns over here. He may very well do the same, but if not, we'll probably have a position that looks very similar to ones we've had before. Let's keep it more standard here. Go for the same rook e1 move as usual. I don't know if he's trying to play b5, but b5 is definitely not a good move. He may in fact just lose a piece if he does it, but we shall see. Okay, this pin looks reliable. Very reliable, actually. Bishop b6. Yeah, rook. Rook here, queen e7. Is there any way we can take advantage of this knight? Not really, that I can see. I can play knight e3, but it'll probably be taken. Still, I mean, that's a very good position, so we won't hesitate. Two insanely good moves, so I'm wondering how he's going to handle it. And he does move the queen. That's not bad. Knight here does look like a move. Maybe he'll try knight d7 there. I don't know. Okay. I think this is almost forced. That one cannot cannot be good. Queen there is the only move to like try to hit a piece, but we'll just trade the queens and win. Can double on the e file here. Yeah, if I take, then we just have to be careful of that. But now we should be able to. And I think we can win material in a funny way here. Rook d8 actually loses more material, so let's hope he doesn't play that and keep things so simple by playing rook d8 and forcing a trade. Yeah, this should do it. This will also force a trade of the bishops here, so I think it makes sense to take this way, keep the king cut off on the back rank. GG. Once again, we're going to see this position a lot. The same way we see the Caro-Kann and takes, we also see like just the center pawns in. They always take, literally always. And then, yeah, just two bishops. We know exactly what type of moves we're looking for. and the game just kind of flows from there. All right, knight f3. Wait to see what setup he wants to go for. Looks like he's going to go for something that, you know, really does not affect us. We're not bothering his setup. He's not bothering ours. Perfect. Okay. Again, very common. People love to take here. It's so not the best move. Like, it's really, really not. But man, people love to do it. Once again, going with our A pawn push. He is giving us a pawn here, and I have to say it's kind of an intriguing one because the E pawn becomes weak after as well. But anyway, a free pawn's a free pawn. I can always just jump back if B6, for example. Yeah, honestly, knight here and bishop G4 is that could be something. I don't know. The E pawn is quite weak. What I probably should have done was, because you know he'll probably bring this here. Rook here, knight C5. Yeah, it's not quite enough. Knight C5 looks tempting, but sadly, I don't think the continuation is there. So I think this is probably a knight. Must be a knight H7 moment. Here, here. One of those positions that looks like it's winning. I'm not sure that I see it, but just kind of has to be good. One of those ones. I'm annoyed that we don't really have development there, so I'll probably do it, but I'm not 100% confident about this. King H6 walks into presumably more trouble, so. But you know, things can be temporarily defended here. E6 is loose. So I suppose we have to continue with this one. And then honestly in this position, maybe just cool, calm, cool knight E4. You know, don't try to do too much. I have a feeling that that might be the move. Mainly because it stops this. I don't know. Didn't really see a stellar follow-up, and maybe bishop H5 will be good next. Bishop G5 or bishop H6. Seems like there's some moves. Ooh. Okay, that does not strike me as the move that he should be playing, but I see that he probably wants to take with the knight and then take my bishop on G4. So that's kind of interesting. Maybe bishop G5, one of those moves to just add the pressure, bring the rook to D1. If I was defending, I would love to see my opponent do that, knowing that I could get rid of, like, basically I eliminate all the attackers at once. Yes, it's for a price, but okay. And he goes here. We have queen H8. We also have bishop takes H6. So I understand the discovered check, but unfortunately, it's not going to be anything here. So which one is better? I honestly can't really tell. Let's skip this check. Probably bishop H5 after. I guess. It's difficult to decide. I think we'll take. We can also take there as well. I think we have a nice finish here. Queen G7 mate. And we become at 1300. The crowd goes wild. And this is a fine opening for black. Really nothing wrong with this. But everybody takes. I don't know how to explain it. It's such a wrong decision compared to the other options. And we just keep it simple. I would probably tuck next, but okay, he gave me some better options. Hung a pawn. And yeah, I felt pretty good about knight e4 here. And yep, everything is mate in one here, which is kind of funny. There is a mate in one against everything. Name a move for black, and I've got a mate in one for you. Why? Because I can see 3 checkmate in ones that I'm threatening right now, and I can't see a move that you can play that deals with all of them at once. I can't see it. What do you think of the opening? It feels so simple. Even as I'm doing the speedrun, I'm like, no, what the hell? This is easier than even I thought. I cooked something up here. Didn't even realize. Thank you for making it to the end of this episode of the Philidor speedrun. This opening has been super successful for me, and I hope you guys are experiencing the same elo boost. As always, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're not already and turn on post notifications so you do not miss our next upload. I'll see you guys in the next one.